Many thanks for joining me for the next 20-odd minutes on Primetime News as we unpack local, continental and global happenings on a brand new week. Good evening, I'm Michael Madimba. Leading tonight's bulletin, Member of Parliament and the National Council John Likando has called for the scaling up of local food production to ensure food security in Namibia. He made the remarks during the resumption of the National Council and debate on the report of the Council Standing Committee on Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources. Let's listen in.
There are a lot of political development. One day, when our relationship is sour, is Namibia prepared to feed its citizens internally in terms of food security? 2 years back, when there was a strike of trucks that were moving between South Africa and Southern country. It did not take days already, we're standing here. So I'm just reminding the committee that you did quite a very good job, especially on Ndongalilena. I'm saying that because last week when I passed.
On to traditional matters. The chairperson of the Council of Traditional Leaders, Chief Emmanuel Gassab, has urged traditional leaders to refrain from approaching the courts whenever there is a disagreement amongst themselves. The courts, he said, are under tremendous pressure as they deal with a wide range of high-profile criminal, civil and maintenance cases, including those of a domestic violence nature. Maggie Thomas compiled this report.
The courts, the chairperson of the Council of Traditional Leaders, Chief Emmanuel Gassab, said, are under tremendous pressure as they deal with a wide range of high-profile criminal cases, civil and maintenance cases, amongst others. Gassab, in a recent interview, told Nampa that infighting among traditional leaders has become the norm, causing animosity among the communities. He further said the council is busy finalizing a report on the outcome of an elective meeting that took place in Enana last year in order to brief President Hage Geingob. The election of the vice chairperson will take place later this year on a date to be announced at a later stage.
Now, Prime Minister Sarah Kuhongelo-Amadila says efforts are in the pipeline to make the Cobabis Career Fair and Expo a national project. The Premier made the announcement recently at the Cobabis Career Fair and Expo. Let's have a listen.
I am glad to note that efforts are underway to make this career fair a national project, and I urge all Namibians to embrace it. Besides providing information on career paths to students, this initiative also creates a networking platform for students, for them to interact with one another and share information, and to motivate them. A cohesive, multi-sectoral and multi-dimensional approach towards education is required to ensure optimal outcomes from our investment in education as a country. Enricher Career Fair is one such endeavor which could assist us in this regard. Therefore, I urge all stakeholders, including parents, learners and teachers, corporate entities and individuals, to work in partnership with our government to address factors that affect education in our country. Providing necessary education, knowledge and skills is essential to empower citizens to enter the workforce. As a country, we made great progress in providing access to education.
On to events from further afield. An independent inquiry into child sex abuse by members of the Portuguese Catholic clergy since 1950 published its conclusions earlier today after recording hundreds of victim accounts. Let's delve more into this report.
Thousands of reports of pedophilia within the Catholic Church have surfaced around the world, and Pope Francis is under pressure to tackle the scandal. From Australia to Ireland via the United States, thousands of priests, bishops and cardinals have been caught up in abuse scandals, as well as lay members of the Catholic Church, such as Catholic school teachers or youth group leaders. Between 1950 and 2018, the U.S. Catholic Church received credible complaints of child abuse involving 7,200 members of the clergy, according to the website bishopaccountability.org. In a first for the Church, Pope Francis in 2019 defrocked former Cardinal Theodore McCarrick, who admitted to sexually molesting both children and adults. Another cardinal, Donald Will, resigned after being accused of a cover-up in Pennsylvania, where an investigation found the church had protected over 300 predator priests. The number of underage victims of clerical sex abuse is estimated at nearly 15,000 between 1970 and 1990 alone. A 9-year inquiry into abuse at church-run institutions found that sexual abuse had been endemic in boys' schools. In October, the Portuguese inquiry commissioned by the country's church recorded 424 legitimate accounts from presumed victims. Their testimony indicated the total number of victims was much larger.
Stay tuned for the business and economic segment. Lead in the business segment. Roads Authority CEO Conrad Lutombe earlier today officially opened a new access road to Prosperita Industrial Area. During the opening, Lutombe noted the road was needed as they have been receiving complaints and calls from the public about traffic congestion on the Awas interchange and the need for a new access road. Patricia Kosia filed the story.
Today, we are officially opening the access to Prosperita industry to traffic. This project is part of the entire project, which is phase 1 of Windhoek Hosea Kutako, which is near completion. In fact, the last section is the section from which links south of Simbambathia to the police checkpoint as you are going to Rehoboth, which we will be completing now in April. Then phase 1 will be entirely completed. So we felt that it's necessary. We have received a lot of complaints about congestion on Awas interchange. People were calling on the opening of this access. Yes, we had to construct a bridge. Therefore, it took a bit of time, but we're happy that that is completed today. And the residents of Simbambathia and Prosperita will now enjoy quicker mobility in terms of them reaching their houses or going to towns.
On to neighboring Botswana, where President Mokgweetsi Masisi on Sunday warned that his country may sever ties with diamond giant De Beers if talks to renegotiate a sales deal prove unfavorable to his government. More on the gist from this report.
Botswana is Africa's leading diamond producer, and President Mokgweetsi Masisi called on the nation to rally behind his government as he tries to hammer out a better deal. A 2011 sales agreement governing terms for the market of diamonds produced by Debswana, a 50-50 joint venture between the government and De Beers, which auctions most of the gemstones, was set to end in 2021. It was extended by the party, citing the outbreak of coronavirus as the reason for the delay to conclude negotiations, and it will run through June 30th, 2023. Masisi said he was kickstarting the campaign for the 2024 legislative elections, adding that Botswana was facing a Goliath as far as negotiations were concerned. Under the 2021 agreement, De Beers sold 90% of diamonds, while Botswana auctioned 10% through its Okavango Diamond Company.
That's where we leave it with the top news for this evening. Stay tuned for the economics roundup, followed by the weather forecast. Welcome to Sport Planet. Cycling leads the segment. Namibia's time trial national champion Dricus Coetzee and Risa Dreyer were on Sunday crowned new champions of the 2023 Nedbank Namibia Cycle Challenge men and women's elite categories. Yesron Kapanga was on top of the event and compiled this report.
The 37th edition of the annual Nedbank Cycle Challenge saw riders competing in distances of 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers, 60 kilometers, and 100 kilometers for elite athletes starting at the Nedbank campus in Fidel Castro Street and Reverend Michael Scott Street and concluding in front of Zoo Park in Independence Avenue. Coetzee, who won the elite men's title for the first time in his career, had to beat Swiss rider Connie Lusser to the line after the pair broke off from the platoon just 15 kilometers into the 100-kilometer race, while third place was taken by Ingram Cuff, who was over 4 minutes behind. In the women's race, Dreyer had a good race as she was also crowned women's champion for the first time after beating Belinda van Rijn and Nicola Vester, who finished second and third respectively.
On to the Hockey World Cup. As the Namibian hockey team bade farewell to the 2023 International Hockey Federation Indoor Hockey World Cup in Pretoria, South Africa, coach Erin Handura says they will miss their long-serving skipper. Again, Hesron Kapanka compiles the story.
The 38-year-old Maggie Mengo became one of the notable names in the Namibian hockey circles, but her playing days came to an end on Friday as she hung up her stick and shoes after their last FIH Indoor Hockey World Cup loss to New Zealand. Handura, who has coached Mengo since she was 13 years old, said that Mengo has made a big difference in the sport of hockey and made her international debut at the age of 15. Meanwhile, Mengo, who competed in her last match against New Zealand on Friday, said since making her national debut as a 15-year-old in 1999, she is happy to hang up her boots and excited for the future of hockey in Namibia. She added that it was sad to lose her last international match, but she will look back on her 24-year journey with no regrets. Mengo said while calling on aspiring young players to follow their dreams even though hockey is regarded as an expensive sport.
Stand by for your sports roundup. With the sports news, we've come to the end of the Monday newscast. Thanks for watching. Do make it 8 with us on the morrow as we put scenes into the headlines. From myself, Michael Madimba, and the collective behind the scenes, it's good night.